What's up guys, Peter here from Reviews on Anything, and in this video we're talking about belts. You might have seen an early video that we did quite a while ago on the trakline belt from Core Essentials. Very nice belt with a very innovative closing system, and I couldn't have enough praise for it in that video, and I still use them today. Today though we're looking at one of their more advanced products. This is their EDC Gunbelt. It's a reinforced belt meant to carry small to medium-sized firearms up to about 4 pounds. But it comes in a very stylish package. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the functionality and the strength that you want in an everyday carry gun belt, but you still get style and quality at the same time. So this is really a belt you can also use, if you're just a heavy duty user and a normal belt is not strong enough for you, then this also will work. But its main purpose is a gun carry belt. So we're going to take a closer look. Alright, let's start with a little unboxing of this EDC Gunbelt. Very plain box, as you can see. If you've seen the video of my regular Core Essential belts, you'll notice it's the same box, which I think is a missed opportunity actually, because it would have been nice if they had sort of a special kind of box for these gun belts. Because it's a special kind of belt, so why not make a special box? But on the other hand, it's the sort of uniformity of the brand messaging, which I also think is quite clever to do it that way. Opening it up. Not that much to see. Again, Core Essentials logo right there. You get a little flyer included as well, which I already took out. And you're obviously presented with your belt. If you ordered any buckles, they'll be included as well. Now, taking the buckles out, putting them to the side, let's have a look at the belt, which is going to be challenging because it's quite a stiff unit. So here we have the belt, which looks very much like a regular belt, as you can hopefully tell on camera. The obvious thing that I can't show you on camera is the smell that greets you as soon as you open the box, like the smell of leather. I talked about that in that earlier video as well. It's a smell of quality that automatically gives you confidence and sort of pleasure sort of on the inside about the purchase that you made. Now the belt itself, it's a belt, so nothing too shocking to see. Just like the regular belts, you can see the sizing here on the inside, which is where you will cut the belt to your desired size. Then you put the buckle on one end and you're effectively good to go. Obviously the difference with this belt and regular belt is that this one has a reinforced core for extra stiffness, because the one thing you want with a gun belt, even in an everyday carry gun belt, is stiffness, that you can hang your holster on it without any problems of the belt flexing and collapsing in on itself. Now this is designed for small to medium firearms, with a maximum of about 4 pounds, Core Essentials claims. So if you want something more heavy duty, you have to get the really dedicated gun belts that also support bigger weights. But for an everyday carry, I think this should be just fine. Now, looking further around the belt, you can see that the edge here is tapered, which obviously makes it easier to fit it into the buckle. And the trademark part of the Core Essential line is the trakline here in the front of the belt. This is where you will adjust your sizing depending on your day, on what you're wearing. This is obviously without any holes like a normal traditional belt would have, and this effectively has infinite adjustability. 40 clicks, so it's a large track, so you'll be sure to find a fit any day of the week. Now in my first video where I looked at the regular trakline belts, I didn't do a full close-up, but I wanted to do it in this one to show you how the mechanism of the buckle works. So there's two ways where you interact with the buckle. First one is here, obviously on the end. You can see the numbers here on the end of the belt, which is the size, and that's where you cut it to your desired size. Over here there's a little lever with some teeth, hopefully you can see that properly, that dig into the belt, that requires a bit of force, so you have to dig it in, but then it's locked down tight. The good part is that you can just open it again and put a new buckle on, put this buckle on another one, easy peasy. So that's the first part of the buckle where you interact with. Only once though, because probably once you cut it on the desired size, you might have to make 1 or 2 adjustments to make sure it's a good fit, but then you're most likely just going to leave it there for the foreseeable future, unless you are somebody who changes buckles often. Then we have the other side of the belt, which features the trakline. This is something that you have to compare like a zip tie. It's pretty much the exact same system, just the difference being that you can open this one up again and obviously undo the belt. But it's the same system. There's a little part here that sort of clicks behind the tracks and makes sure that your belt sits secure. So how does that look like from sort of the inside of the belt? You take the trakline obviously and you're going to stick the pointy end into the buckle. You can see that it slips out here on the other side. You can already hear it click. Now you can actually see it click as well. As you slide it through, it clicks in place. You can make it as tight or as loose as you need to. You can see here is the part that digs into the tracks and make sure that you have a very nice and secure fit. To undo it, there's a little lever here that you push, and then you can just slide the belt out, no problem whatsoever. It's really simple. Actually, it's a really you know, fundamentally simple mechanism, but it's executed really well. The quality of the buckle, obviously the quality of the belt is good, but the quality of the buckle is nice and solid as well. It's very confidence inspiring. Also using the lever, it feels like it's going to last a very long time. So it's, you know, a simple mechanism, like I said, very comparable to a zip tie, with the difference that you can undo it, of course. But I think really well executed here with this extra long track that you have to find the right size, and with this extra solid buckle that will give you the confidence that your belt will stay in place, which is obviously important not only with an everyday carry gun belt or a full-on gun belt, but with any kind of belt. You want it to stay in place and do what it's supposed to do. Alright, and now for the slightly awkward part where I'm actually having to film myself waist down in order to show you the belt in action. But there's no way around it, so let's do this. Now to get started, there's nothing really to see here. This is pretty much like you would put on any other belt. So you got the end, the long part here that goes into the buckle, and the buckle sitting here next to the first belt loop. Obviously the difference being that this has the track line rather than traditional holes and a pin on this end. So all you really do is put it in and you can hear it click. And it clicks right in place and you can find your desired fit. A little tighter if you want to, and there's a little lever here on the bottom that you can pull to make it looser. So you can always find the fit that works for you. Now this is obviously a reinforced belt, so it is going to be a little stiffer than your sort of everyday belt that you're used to. Obviously to support the weight, like I said before, but it also means that it's slightly stiffer in the excess part coming out of the buckle. Not an issue though, because it is, yes, a bit stiffer, but it's not so stiff that it stands out like this and there's nothing you can do with it. So you can just put it in your first loop and maybe adjust your buckle slightly to make sure it fits nice and snug. And you can see it's not sticking out, it's not poking out here. It doesn't become an issue on this side at all. And that is really as simple as it is. When you're done with the belt, you got it off like that. When you eat a bit more than usual, you know, you can adjust it in such a way that you just use a few clicks less. So ease of use is 10 points for sure, and I think the way that the belt sort of tucks away, despite its extra rigidity, is quite an accomplishment as well from Core Essentials. Obviously, you know, the weight is going to be supported either here in the front if you're carrying right here, or here on the sides if you're carrying there. So it also depends a bit on your build, on how that will sit on the belt, and of course what kind of holster you're using. But like I said before, this is for small to medium sized firearms. So in general, I don't think that should be much of an issue. The belt can easily handle it though, and I think, as you can see, this is with normal jeans. It looks quite stylish, but this belt will also serve you very well in a suit situation or anything. And even in situations where you might not actually be carrying a firearm and a holster on your belt, but just want a belt with a bit more stiffness and performance, then this is definitely a belt that fits in pretty much anywhere, depending a little bit on the color that you get, of course. And because the buckles are interchangeable across the Core Essential line, you can find a buckle that fits your certain style, pants or event, and all is well in that case as well. Alright, the EDC Gunbelt from Core Essentials. What do we make of this one? I think it's a complete home run, to be honest. I think this is a belt that pretty much does everything you can ever ask a belt to do. You know, apart from the extremes where you might want to carry super heavy duty firearms and so on, this is a belt that will serve your belt in pretty much any situation. I mentioned small to medium sized firearms, so you can definitely carry some weight on this belt. It doesn't necessarily have to be firearms. I can also imagine that if you carry, for example, big flashlights, walkie-talkies and that kind of stuff around, that this would work just fine to give you that little bit of extra support over a standard belt and still look good. This will be particularly good for people that work, for example, as a night watch, maybe some kind of personal security situation. This is a belt that will definitely feel at home there. If, on the other hand, you don't want to necessarily carry anything on it, but just want a belt with a bit more performance, maybe you're a particularly large person, or you have other problems that require more performance from a belt, this is definitely the belt for you. It looks good, it's stylish, it's elegant, it'll definitely go from anywhere from jeans to a suit. Pretty much any situation you can imagine, this belt will feel right at home. The adjustability is, again, without question, just like the normal belts from Core Essentials. Super easy, super solid buckle, super clean design that just works Ease of use is great. There's no loose squeaks, no loose rattles. It all just works as a whole package. So I think this is a fantastic all-rounder. Yes, it is expensive, you know, but that's what it is. For that money you get a very high quality product that'll serve you a lifetime, I think. If you take a little bit of care of this belt, this is probably the last belt you ever buy. So I think it's a complete home run. Any downsides? I don't think so. This is really a complete package that does everything it needs to do and then some in a stylish and elegant way without losing any functionality. So if you're in the market for an everyday carry gun belt, this is definitely the belt for you, I think. Of course there's other brands out there, but I think this is such a complete package that it's very hard to not pick this up if you are in the market for such a belt. Also, when you are somebody who just wants something stylish, durable, practical and good looking, then I think this is definitely the belt for you as well. This is Peter from Reviews on Anything with a look at the Core Essentials Everyday Carry Gun Belt. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel, that helps us out a lot, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!